Welcome back, and joining us on the show now is Peter McGuire. He's CEO Exim Australia. Peter, hi, good to have you. And it's an important day for crude watchers because you have the OPEC meeting, which is expected to put out a production policy for 2024. What are your expectations from this? And as we understand, there's a bit of a discord between the members.
Absolutely, and good afternoon, Manisha. There certainly is discord, and that's the issue as far as who's going to, a little bit of argy-bargy, going to see which party comes up and who comes up trumps and who doesn't. The other side, of course, is you've got the Angola issue in Nigeria. I've got my eye on that. And then you're thinking how this is going to work in 2024 as far from a compliance angle. Crude's been bid up over the last session or two. It's sitting there, it's had a nice little gain to the upside. So I wouldn't be surprised for it to put another couple of bucks on maybe between now and say, end of Friday's close in New York.
Okay. What's your expectation, though? I mean, the street seems to be working with the fact that you could see yet another 1 million barrels per day of an output cut.
Yeah, absolutely, Manisha. I mean, that's no doubt in that. And that's, I think everyone's watching it. They've got their mind very focused on it. And then the next part, of course, is if that's going to be all we'll get, and could it surprise to the upside? You could get a little bit more. There's just a lot of moving parts with this. You've got, viewpoints as far as where we see growth in 2024, and we all understand how, this tail end of 23 has been fairly quiet from an export model as far as China, and then, consumption globally for all finished goods is fairly tight.
And Peter, if nothing is changed in this meeting, it is status quo, then what kind of profit taking can one expect?
Well, I don't know, Manisha. I mean, that's the other side of it. That could dump a couple of bucks, and traders could, ride it short. We've just got to see because it's very volatile, and that I think mindset's not going to really evaporate in the next. Well, I don't think till the lead up to certainly to Christmas, but we've just got to be conscious. Also, you're talking about that big sell-off as far as US dollar currencies have had a big move. So it's an exciting time, and don't forget, that flight to safety in a lot of ways, Manisha. It might be a different sort of flight to safety, but certainly gold.
Well, yes. But, staying on with crude oil, and what's your sense? What is the range that you see for the next month or so before we call curtains to this year?
Yeah, I think I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe a couple more bucks to the upside. That wouldn't surprise me. Maybe 86, 87, and possibly even a little bit higher for Brent. Let's see where WTI is. I'd say, early 80s to maybe 83, 84. But there's that, that's a month today or one month, one day. It takes us up to December 31. So I think, a little bit higher from here.
Also, how are you looking at the election season coming in on? Because, as the consuming countries have wanted, we've seen that pressure come in for the crude oil prices. How do you look at demand, the weak China data? What do you think will play going forward from here?
Yeah, I'm worried about the weak China data. That certainly is a very big consideration, and one can't take your eye off it. And then you're looking as far as consumption all across Eurozone, what's happening as far as South America, where do we see green shoots? India seems to be rolling along very, very nicely, but there's a lot of countries that are really under the pump and doing it quite tough. So, I've just got to see Fed policy, what happens as far as inflation, and do we see any further geopolitical shocks?
A final question then, how would you look at the coming quarter? Because, there have been so many statements about deficit and some surplus and back and forth there. With the kind of scenario that we are in right now, how do you see entry into the next year?
Yeah, I mean, this is the delicate situation because I think there's just so many different moving parts to the whole, it makes up this fruitcake that we call, commodity trading. And there just seems to be, I think, momentum to the upside. I'm interested to see how that rolls into the first quarter of 24. And I won't be surprised to see possibly some shocks enter the market, Manisha.
Oh, well, absolutely. As uncertain as it gets. Peter, thank you so much for joining us. And well, that's what the view is on crude oil prices, the most important OPEC meeting today, and the prices will react to that one. But with that, let's go for a short break. When we come back, we'll talk about more stocks on the other side.